Hello everyone. Well, today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm not making a knife. I'm building storm windows for around our house. We have a ton of windows in our house, 25 total upstairs, and then even more downstairs. So in order to do something that we could actually afford, we decided to just build our own. The upside to this is that you can't just go out to a store and buy Cypress windows with 1/4-inch laminated glass, which is what we're using in these windows. So you got to build them yourself. So we have a local lumber place here called Riverside Lumber in New Orleans East, and that's where I got all of the cypress. And I pre-milled all of it. I cut it all to length, routed everything how I needed to route it, and I set up this handy jig using little plastic corner blocks, and I have everything in place, and all I have to really do is just drop it in. I'm using a Craig K4 pocket hole jig system here, which allows me to drill 1, 2, or 3 holes in each piece of rail. It's pretty precise, and what's really nice about it is you can attach it to your vacuum and all of your dust goes right out of the Craig jig and into your vacuum. So for the bottom rail, I'm putting 3 holes. For the middle rail, I'm putting 2. And for the top, I'm putting 2. You can see here what those pocket holes look like. Setting up for something like this takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it, especially when you have a lot of windows to make. So next step here is to add a little bit of glue in the joint. I like to use Tight Bond. I have just a little paintbrush and a container of water that I keep over there to keep the brush from hardening up. Put glue in each joint, and then also some on the ends of each of the rails. You don't need to go crazy with the glue. I mean, you want to have enough in the joint that you're going to cover everything, but you don't want it to be so much that when you start to assemble it, you got glue squishing out everywhere and all over your assembly table, and then all over you and the floor or whatever else. So then I just take your brush and spread that out a little bit. Get it evenly coated across the surfaces that are going to be touching. I like to keep clean while I'm working. The cleaner you stay while you're working on stuff like this, the happier you're gonna be, and also the better end result you're gonna have. So next step is, after I get these in place, I'm gonna walk around the table and I'm gonna lock in all of my clamps. So I have a clamp on each end that pushes them horizontally across the table, and then clamps that hold down on each rail and stile. A little cleanup in the joints. And now I'm going to take my Craig 1¼ inch pocket hole screws and put them in. Now this wood is 7/8 inch thick, and when you get your pocket hole jig system, there's going to be a little bit of setup that you have to do so your holes don't get drilled too deeply, but you'll see the instructions. So then the final step here is to take your pocket hole plugs. You don't want to have to cut these by hand. You can just buy them in bulk on Amazon, and those just go right down into the holes. Now you may have a little bit sticking out. You want to get them as flush as possible, but you're either going to have to use a saw to cut off your excess. I use a little Japanese hand saw, or you can just sand them off. And then final step here is I like to get a little bit extra glue in the joints and then clean it up, and we're done. And that is a Cypress storm window. You want to check out some videos I have coming up where I paint it, put the glass in, glaze it, and then hang it. Thanks for checking out my video.